So happy to be joined by 100 Thieves FBI for the MasterCard Player of the Week interview. I first want to ask you about your pose selection because I appreciate the fact that you went for something a little different there.
Actually, my pose selection was like kind of a generic one that they showed me on a piece of paper, but I think it turned out all right.
Wait, do they have like a selection of poses?
Yeah. So I just chose the easiest one to do, and here it is.
Hey, you learn something new every day. So one of the things with selecting you here as MasterCard Player of the Week was the fact that everyone on 100 Thieves has been so strong as a unit, and we spoke about it in our previous interview. What can you tell me about just the projection on which we are seeing the team from the start of summer until now?
Yeah, I think we're on a really upward trajectory. Obviously, our game versus Team Liquid today was quite shaky, and we made a lot of mistakes, but overall, I think we've been improving a lot, and hopefully we can be better by playoffs.
A lot of people are declaring you and Huhi the best bot lane in the league. And I want to learn more about your relationship with Reaper, because hearing in 100 Thieves content, closers talking about how Reaper spent a lot of time trying to get to know my mind as an individual. Did he do something similar for all of you?
Kind of, I would say. I think I'm pretty close to Reaper. He's like a really good friend, honestly. And he's just pretty fun to be around. And he has taught me a lot about the game. And it's just kind of nice having your coach be someone that you're actually pretty close to. And it's kind of great.
Friendship off of the Rift always leads to wins on the Rift, it seems. Being that it has been such a strong surge for 100 Thieves, I do want to give you this opportunity to speak to the fans out there that have been totally amped up about your performance.
I think I would like to tell the fans, I think Jay Huhi should have got the trophy for last week. I actually think he played really well, and I feel like he deserved it over me, but hopefully he can get it this week.
A true teammate as always, FBI. Thank you so much for joining me for the interview. I love the fact that when it comes to the MasterCard Player of the Week interview, so many of the players just take the opportunity to say, my teammate deserved it. And I feel like that's something that we can expect from FBI.
Yeah, as a GM, it's always really good to hear like people backing up their teammates, the team effort. And ever since we've got Reaper in this split, we've all come together and we're more than the sum of our parts. And I know people didn't notice in spring, but our parts are pretty good too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And if you didn't notice, we have Papa Smithy joining us here on the State Farm Analyst Desk ahead of the 100 Thieves matchup against FlyQuest. And we got Raz and we got Kaizen here for the big old party. But it's great to have you here. How has summer been going for you?
I mean, the easy answer is a lot of winning makes things easier, for sure. I think everybody knows that. But we made some pretty big changes, like the face of the team was changed pretty severely, you know, head coach and mid laner. I think if you're going to make 2 changes around game day, it's about the most you can change. The image of the team changes a lot. So from there, seeing it play out after seeing it in the planning phase and the decision phase, definitely better than I could have ever imagined. But title's not won in June. You know, we're still building slowly, but good start so far.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm curious about this whole overhaul, starting with Reaper. You know, what are the qualities that you saw in Reaper that told you, okay, this is my guy?
I mean, luckily I've worked or at least been around Reaper for a really long time. I know the story comes up a lot, but I actually referred him to Jack when he was first signed for C9. So in a friendly capacity. And then reflecting on spring, the big thing for me was I was looking for a big kind of tonal shift. I think things were pretty informal under Zix and with the system we had. And then I wanted someone to come in who had a very kind of significant presence, someone you had to respect because they've already achieved a lot, and someone who could really command respect. And I think Reaper's done a really, really good job about that. I had no doubt he could, but seeing it play out, you know, changing one thing but keeping 4 things the same, there's no guarantee it plays out like it does in your mind, but I think so far so good.
My question to you on this one is that, like, you know, you guys are top of the league. A lot of teams have made changes that actually haven't helped them. So competition can be pretty rough. And I know that you guys feel like you always have a tool to win the game, right? If top lane isn't performing, you still have like Abadage that's doing incredibly well. If that isn't performing, you have the bot lane. I know that FBI giving credit to Huhi, but like that's always been the case. They have different looks. How do you guys feel like, especially with the new coach in Reaper, you guys are improving, knowing that you're at the top, but not wanting to feel like stagnating at there?
There's a lot packed into that question.
Yes.
I think the big thing that became clear to me was that I had no doubt in the pieces we had in spring, but in terms of getting the most out of them, I think as the split went on, I think it was clear to everyone that we weren't able to do that. And it was about trying to get more out of the pieces. And I think Reaper's talked about closer and accessing closer. And I think that's like the clearest example. But we had very little doubt as a team that if we could set up our players to succeed, we had the raw talent to do it. And I think it's the system change that has allowed, it's this guy's turn this week. It was FBI's turn this week, for example, this week past. And now this week, we'll wait and see who it is.
Well, who you want to give a shout out to? Because I know like MVPs come out for week by week, and we already got Abadage and FBI. Like, who's the next player, or at least who's a player that's interested you the most?
I must admit, this past week, when it kind of became clear that one of our players was going to get the nod, you get that feeling in a 3-0 week when you beat good teams. I was trying to send out the hoo-hee signals, I was trying to let the people know. There's actually some people around here who work on the analyst desk, and I was like, hey, this is the guy, and I just wanted to suggest it because I think the carries always get their due, right? If you hit a certain kill threshold, probably going to win Player of the Week if you go 3-0, but I think Hooey's been in really, really good form. He's so reliable, but also malleable. Like, we can draft certain champs and he'll work it out if it needs to be. He's already played so many different archetypes, so he's definitely the unsung hero of the team for sure.
Well, we heard Victor give him props, and you've given him props. So
maybe he's the sung hero now.
There it is.
You guys just make a statue and give him one of those.
I'm down. I mean, we want the full squad. We got 2 out of 5 so far, so 3 to
collect
go.
the whole set.
3 to go, exactly.
Yeah. I'm curious about, from the perspective of the rigidity that Reaper brings to the team, do you want sort of a more authoritative coach, or more of a coach who is more on the level of the players but has a distinct view on how to play the game?
So the big thing about our group is that we have some really aggressive personalities that want to hit back if they hear something they don't 100% agree with or subscribe to. And so on the one hand, you want to have good information that they'll subscribe to, but you also want someone who can kind of pick out what they need to from the feedback session and then kind of move on rather than getting lost in the weeds. I mean, you were a coach before, Raz. It's very easy to have League of Legends discussions where no one's wrong, but no resolution is reached. 30, 40, 50 minutes in. The 2-hour draft meeting is a famous one. So having someone who's a bit more like, all right, this is our takeaway, let's move on, I think is a really big boon for us. And it definitely lets us go home a little bit earlier sometimes.
Nice.
You have emphasized, Papa Smithy, wanting to go away from that casual type culture and bringing Reaper in to really establish something new, which has led not just to performances by the newer players like Abadage popping off, but even the synergy between Sunday and Closer coming to another level after being outspoken of not always being on the same page in spring. So how have you been analyzing that shift properly towards the culture that you want and maybe defining those pillars for the entire team to succeed at this level?
Yeah, I don't want people to come away with us having like a rigid culture or a business culture, because it's not like that. We still do have good fun, but I think our understanding of the game and of each other is more rich. I think, to your question, I feel that not everyone knew their role in the game in spring season. That doesn't mean like top lane for someday, but it means like who should speak where, how much communication is necessary. Should the jungler be playing around the lanes or around themselves, or is that a situational thing? Like, these are things that every team is working out and can change patch on patch, and we just didn't have a good read of it. And we got into bad habits, and we would play around bot lane, and if that didn't work out, we were a bit lost. And I think now hearing feedback like, oh, you have 5 people who can carry and things like that, that's other people seeing what we thought we had and what we recognized we could have, and its potential being realized, which obviously is a really good feeling as a GM.
Yeah. Personally, it was so exciting to hear in some of the early Heist episodes from people like Closer saying, yeah, Reaper spent time sitting down with me. We really had to define what our individual roles were for the team. Clearly, it's been working out fairly well. And Papa Smithy, thank you so much for giving us the insight and joining us here on the desk today.
Pleasure.
We obviously have the action coming up for us. So when we return, we'll have Kobe Time bringing you... Kobe Time, I get it. Okay. Bringing you the Cast 100 Thieves face off against FlyQuest. Catch you there, friends.
Kobe time.
Kobe Time.
Welcome back for our final game of the day. It's Kobe time, bringing you game number 5 versus FlyQuest.
And 100 Thieves are now on a 6-game win
A
streak.
lot of games.
And they have only lost 1 game in the last 12. So there's the 1 loss broke up the streak. It just could have been a super ginormous streak, but they have absolutely been on fire in summer. And it has been the conversation of summer so far in the LCS, this team and what they're doing. It is going to be a very difficult task here for FlyQuest, even though I think yesterday, and even the players on 100 Thieves would agree, that was not the type of play that they want to show, not the type of game that they want to show as far as the early lead that they had and the tools at their disposal to more cleanly and efficiently finish it off. Definitely would have been their goal. And they even talked a little bit about it on social media, you know, so refocusing here, FlyQuest, this game now for them. I think the goals are going to be to more quickly accelerate and use those points of strength.
Right, because, you know, this is a team that is ramping up aggressively, wants to keep maintaining this form, but also wants to improve and show that they can just start smashing any team in the league. And obviously, their favorite here against FlyQuest, they do want to make sure that the game for them goes cleanly. Where on the FlyQuest side, just we're going to try and figure it out. Yeah, it has been a struggle, unfortunately, for them. I mean, they swapped 3 players in. That didn't really work. It does feel like we've got, some semblance of style where, Licorice wants to play carries and Jose Diodo can really be unlocked, and Powerfox is great at enabling a lot of that. And, ideally bottom lane plays safely and everything goes well. Going to be a tough ask against this team because 100 Thieves are very, very good. But we'll see what we can learn today about FlyQuest. And fun fact, Kobe, it shouldn't really be surprising, actually, but if 100 Thieves win this game right here, they are locked for playoffs.
That is not that fun. I want
fun.
Give me a more fun fact right now.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to give you time to think about it while I go over some pick bands here, because I want a quality, very fun fact. Nocturne, Viego taking off the board, so some of these AD solo laners. 100 Thieves actually focusing very heavily on Palafox. I like to see that target bans from the blue side. Most of these solo lanings could be either Licorice or Palafox types of bans from 100 Thieves, but definitely think they are whittling down on that solo lane champion pool and some of the flexibility that FlyQuest would try and utilize on red side. I think this is the go-to blue side strategy. But they leave up Akali for Abadaga. Faker Dage, Akali. Oh my goodies.
That's could be a problem, but you got to leave up something. And Akali is the pick chosen.
I would leave up Renekton. I've decided. As far as premier bans go right now, I would rather leave up Renekton 10 out of 10 times in favor of Akali. Ban her now. Is my position. All right, here we go, baby.
And this is a personal one to me, right? So there's no way you can know this. So at least you won't tell me you knew it already. So are you aware of a game I cast a long time ago featuring a Heimerdinger?
Yes.
Okay.
In Osh.
Yes. Do you know the reason? So long time ago, we won't get into it, but you know the reason why I like Heimerdinger was my favorite champion? Why I was so
I don't know the reason.
Because back when you were playing on stage, Kobe, all the way back in 2010, your then, I guess, solo laner, he was the mid lane that game, Hotshot GG, got himself solo killed by Dan Dinsheimer. And I was like, this champion's sick.
Dude,
Let me play that one.
Dan Heimer is no joke. Shout out to Dan Din, baby. Let's get into this champ select, though. No Heimerdinger will be popping up here. It is a Diana jungle in complement to this Akali. Now, those don't necessarily go very well together for the early stages. Both Diana and Akali are a little bit tadpole-style AP carry champions where you're scaling up a little bit. You really want your level 6 before you look for those kills. So I foresee 100 Thieves top side of the map really seeding a lot of pressure early on. Meanwhile, for FlyQuest, they're laying down some super strong openings here. These are strong lane openings. Lucian definitely going to be able to punish Akali early on. Definitely going to be able to push early on. And Palafox, I know for a fact, has been putting in lots of time on Lucian. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the Gale Force Grudge build. Australia's Grudge to get that slow on all of your abilities for Lucian early on. It hits really hard, power spikes early on. Then you can still add on the Essence Reaver for third item to carry you through a very smooth power curve. Lucian, though, it's always so scary to play into an Akali team because early on, everything's going great. Oh, man, I'm just beating up this Akali. Guys, look at my CS. Look at my lane control.
Yeah, it's so easy.
It's so easy, dude. But once a Akali gets some levels, you know, and you get more levels into your Q plus your ultimate, you still have to worry about the backline one-shots. So 100 Thieves, they will have to bide their time early there with the Akali, but Lucian and Varus will have to watch their backs later on because the Diana-Akali combo will be diving for them.
Yeah, looking like a lot of good targets for Akali right now, at least in the first 3 picks. But 2 support bench.
Yes!
Fiddlesticks! Kobe, it's happened!
Finally! Yes, I got a Fiddlesticks game. I love you, Jose. You are the best. You are the light. Oh my God. Okay, I'm so excited to have some Fiddlesticks jungle here in the LCS. They got some over in LEC. I was incredibly jealous. This has been my go-to for ranked for this season because it has had a super high win rate for solo queue, is very good at turning a lot of these team fights. Fun fact, it's a great pick into Akali specifically. I always laugh at some of these Akali players because your W is a really good reveal for Akali. You can just ult in. She thinks she's got you. After your ult, you fear you get some damage on her. Save your W to channel while she's in her shroud. She'll be walking around thinking she's invisible, and your team just comes, beats her up while your W does give the reveal on her. Really like this pick from FlyQuest. Not only is it a great jungle pick, but it's well thought out into the comp. Want to see it. You know, it's definitely going to be a hard one as far as team versus team and, you know, the piloting of the champions here, but love the actual pickup.
Right, and it's funny because, you know, we often get baited by players hovering, often their favorite champion, right? Stixxay and Warwick is a pretty famous one, right?
Yeah.
Players love, you know, Chime often hovers bot in his game. Jose's actually hovered Fiddle,
Yep.
I think, in every game.
He's been teasing for a
And
long
I don't know
time.
if he just likes the champion or he wanted to play it, but I guess we'll find out now because he's got it.
I'm so glad he finally locked it in. Honestly, too, another big thing about Fiddlesticks jungle, you really want strong lanes like this. So there's multiple factors here. In seeing the first 3 picks of 100 Thieves, you already know their solo lanes are not going to have a lot of early pressure. They're not going to be looking for these super dangerous invades, which can upset Fiddlesticks very tenuous early jungle clear, because ideal Fiddlesticks jungle clear is actually risky by virtue of going the greedy route, not starting with a refillable potion because it won't do much for you later. You only really take that if you're scared of early invades and you're scared of your early clear. And ideally, you get to double leash on these camps, double leash on Wolf plus Blue plus Gromp, finish it off. Raptors plus Red is another optional start. And regardless, you're always going to want to double jungle these camps to catch up your clear speed to that of the other meta junglers. In which case, you get to really display the strengths of Fiddlesticks.
All right.
Vision control
Yep.
and team fighting.
All right, Kobe. Well, I spy 1 potion in Jose Diota's inventory.
Okay, so he
He's got a
split the
control ward.
difference. He didn't go for the refillable. He went for the cheapo, which is 1 control ward and a regular potion. This, honestly, if I'm looking at for pro play, is probably a better pro alternative. My super greedy is double control wards because I have confidence for solo queue. Should be able to outplay the invades and get your vision down first to make sure you don't get caught unawares. But this one, you still get 1 control ward early, and we are going to have free pro view on Jose. This is good. I'm going to look at this afterwards because these spots, okay, I'm going to draw them right now because we got time.
There we go.
This is your spot for your double jungle for doing Raptors in red. If he starts over here, it's very easy. You can just tag your Raptors, then go tag your red, pull it down. Actually, if you're starting it first, you want to pull red first because you walk all the way around and you waste a little bit less time there. But that spot on the lip of the wall by red and Raptors is super easy. There's actually a lot of leeway with this one. If you ever mess up your red Raptors, then it's actually a joke. You can be able to do that one first time.
Oh,
the only
baby.
tricky one is actually the blue and Wolves one. So this one is way safer, and he should be able to do this no problem. You should spend most of your autos on red as it's more health to be able to get that one down. And what you're trying to do when you're conserving time with Fiddlesticks in your clear is maximize the effectiveness of every W channel, because that is your range damage dealer, that is your clear speed limiter, and that thing is what you want to make sure you get full channels on every one so that you have the cooldown reduction refunded to you as well. He's doing a very safe, more pro-friendly clear here than the super greedy solo queue blue one I was talking about earlier, and I like that a lot. as it's also going to end his route towards the bottom side of the map where Palafox's Lucian into Akali, he's always got mid prio, okay? So all you really depend on then is your side lane for your Scuttle Crab.
All right, well, it's been a lot of action in top and bot, but for different sides. So FlyQuest, as expected, it is Palafox and Licorice getting their lanes pushed in, and for FBI and Hui, with the support center, not the farming center this time for FBI, they are, as expected, also getting aggressive in the 2v2.
Another tip for jungle Fiddlesticks, if you want to try it in solo queue, which I highly recommend, it's super good for solo queue, is placing one of your effigies, your passive wards that you start out with, at just over 1 minute and like 10 to 15, depending on which camp you're going to start at, on how greedy you want to get there, because they last longer than trinket wards. If you place an effigy at between 110 and 115, it will actually last until after Scuttle Crab spawns, and you will get vision of that side of the Scuttle Crab early jungle information. So it is hugely beneficial and something no other jungler can do because...
What an ang! Nautilus hooks, man, they just don't miss. Hui! Getting entangled there with Johnson and Dreams, but FBI going to heal them up. You got to stay safe. The Q's incoming, FBI! Loses some help, but not dead just yet. Did have to flash, though.
Yeah, and he was chugging his potion, so he went back in for the extra Q for another heal. Did get chunked out so low, though, that it's going to be very beneficial for FlyQuest here. This is a non-cannon wave pastry, so that wave dies very quickly to the turret. You lose so much experience there now for FBI.
Oh, Hui actually stayed. I mean, he's the one farming, right? So he's the one that cares about getting the farm.
So he gets the gold, but FBI will lose out on the experience. So you still lose out on the experience and shared. So yeah, Hui is going to still get the gold, but the Sentinel will be slightly lower in level. It's more funneled experience, and it's solo experience for Hui. Generally, you would like to have both of them get some of it because you do get a slight team bonus, generally, or just a little bit extra experience for having to share, but it's gonna be fine.
All right, well, FBI is back, almost level 3. He'll be there in short order. So we'll keep track of how this is going as the game goes on, as level 3 does indeed happen. You'll love to see it as well, Kobe. Palafox kicking Closer out of the river, covering Jose as he's continuing to farm through the jungle. Very speedy, as you can see by the numbers reflected on your screen.
Yep, and as the bottom little skirmish went on, still got the bottom Scuttle Crab for himself. Palafox still retaining and making good use of the early priority that he's got on mid. He constantly goes in here on Abbedagga, tries to chunk him out, tries to force him back to open up some of these moves. I will say that, you know, these effigies down on the bottom side, protecting him from possible jungle ganks, are doing a bit, but Abbedagga should be able to clean up all these minions. You see him very egregiously, almost even, tanking every single one, moves up into the lane, gets the last hits on all of them except for a single. No, okay, he went for the Q instead of getting that other one. So he drops another CS to even threaten on Palafox there. Regardless, it's extremely close, and he's approaching that level 6, so is going to start to have some of the possibilities of getting that kill threat down. And you see Diana moving into the river here too. Closer takes out both effigies. He's also approaching his level 6, and that's where you start to have to second guess yourself.
Yeah, River now completely cleaned out. Jose not quite there at 6 yet, but Closer, ooh, starting the Dragon with the bot and the mid pressure here. Jose's going to see him, and Closer's going to back off.
Yeah. Predator activated there for Jose. Definitely no joke on Fiddlesticks, by the way. It's super good for ganking, especially earlier when you don't have your ultimate. You can just straight up Predator onto people, run at them in a lane, and run into fear range. He's actually still around, but all right, not gonna see him there. Ward on the top side does go down as well. Really, Jose is looking to get that level 6. Your level 6 power spike here for Fiddlesticks is incredibly effective. There's no teleport on Palafox though, so this wave is actually getting into turret. I always would want to channel these Raptors then at the pit. Ah, there we go, he's doing it. Get all the way down here so you can get into experience range. It's a solo queue strategy where oftentimes you'll try and leech experience from your solo laner if you don't think they're good enough, your mid laner, and be like, oh, oopsie, you know, I'm just doing Raptors over here. But if they're not there, then you definitely want to go, you know, drain from that side of Raptors so you can be in range of the dying minions and further accelerate your leveling.
Well, remind me again later if things slow down, because it is a 100 Thieves game. I'm not expecting it to be all that slow, although this has been fairly calm. But There is some ancient Dark Fiddlesticks technology that Papa Smithy once told me about. I'll share with you if the game we do have a moment. But again, there's still lots going on here. As Someday and Abadag have actually found pretty good footholds in their 1v1s, right? There is still that pushing pressure, right? There is still the threat, the space for Jose to open up the map, but 100 Thieves should be pretty happy with how this is going, given the early lane setup.
Yeah, I'd say probably the best bet for Jose to find an effective ultimate to use at the moment would be, you know, hover through the actual lane. They're going for a dive, though. So Palafox is using his pressure mid to rotate up towards the top side. It's a really good protective ward there from Someday. He sees them in the tri-brush. Jose knows it, even shows, walks all the way through. Someday, really, really good weak side play there. They coordinate. Yes, the Lucian is gone from mid lane. Abadag is like, hey, I'm Akali, okay, it's a Lucian. You know, watch out. He's going to be coming up there, so they do stop.
Oh, what a redirect there with the E! Abadaga, though, now with Jose in the lane, but FBI is already roaming up and still continuing to threaten Palafox there. But no kill, first blood still on the table. But Dragon did go to 100 Thieves, and now they're looking for the Herald.
Yeah, it's looking really good for 100 Thieves here, because as mentioned from Champ Select, both their solo lanes, they are very happy to trade farm. You know, just trading farm early is great for them. And if in addition you get these neutral objectives, now that, you know, your solo laners can actually move, this is incredible stuff for 100 Thieves. So FlyQuest, they still definitely have power spikes to look forward to. You know, Lucian still has a couple of big power spikes. He's actually going to be very delayed on them, though, because he went Hex Drinker early on, and that is definitely advisable versus Akali Diana. You know, have a lot of AP dive potential there from them. So Palafox just trying to make sure he does not get one-shot by these dives, but you really do slow down your progression as far as how aggressively you can play without your Gale Force, without your Shreldia's Grudge. And that's where you really want to make use of the power of the Lucian plus Varus. If you can get these lethality, you know, builds for Varus online early on and start to poke them down, get to these turrets early, that's where really you could start to gain room for FlyQuest. And you see, we've got a attempt at a wraparound gank here through the lane brush. This is the previously advised usage. I love these. They're super effective because it allows Fiddlesticks to get very effective use of the passive, immediately fearing upon landing, and they're actually calling Palafox down through vision, but the Varus ult lands.
Yeah, nice on the Huhi, but not enough follow-up there. Huhi doesn't have to expend anything, has the flash, has the ulti. Aftershock as well there for the set as Licorice on Someday still duking it out. Palafox going to get missed there by that Shuriken flip, and Someday okay for now.
Varus ultimate used. Okay, so they still have Nautilus ultimate on bottom side. That can be combined to make sure you have a good Fiddlesticks ultimate. If you Nautilus ult, you're basically guaranteeing with that knockup, they're going to be locked in place, but they actually don't wait for 100 Thieves pushback, and there's no objectives on bottom side of the map. So FlyQuest, you can see them right now. They're just kind of walking around mid as Palafox is pushing the wave in on Abadaga.
Ooh, attempt there for Dreams. I like the idea, getting aggressive there onto Abadaga, but no dice there on the hook.
So, man, they don't wait around bottom side for any sort of pushback for an attempt at a Nautilus plus Fiddlesticks play, and I mean, there's no objective for their bottom lane to do. You see that they just walked all the way up river, spent this 30 seconds of time, kind of covering Palafox for the push in there, but that's about it. And they just go back down bottom to catch the wave. I really think FlyQuest, you definitely want to have more Fiddlesticks ult activations earlier than this. We're already 11 minutes into the game. There's so many possibilities here with this champion to, sneak into side brush or something like that. Any of these matchups, it's so much power because, rushing into your Sork shoes for the magic penetration, and you want to start stacking your Dark Steel as early as possible. Maybe now he can look for it, but Someday has already been chunked out, so he's going to have a natural recall here.
Yeah.
This is not off of any information or anything. He's just been chunked out under tower, so you should expect this recall. As he channels back, he'll be a mini Gnar, though, so maybe you can find some range here to do it. I think it's still kind of reaching, though, for FlyQuest.
Yeah, I mean, don't think you want to dive here. Ooh! Sounds like he canceled. Perhaps we'll find out in a moment. Yeah, I can see it back in base. So Jose kind of, rough. I mean, this is one of the things about Fiddle, right? You have to be very patient in a lot of cases. Yeah. Mid lane, no. Dreams just make it happen again. Okay. Palafox going to get some pressure. But TP in there as Abadaga has the ulti ready to go, but does not let it rip. It's Huhi that's running interference there in mid.
Yeah, does get the answer there as far as the support roam. Dreams walks over, so he's able to answer it with the teleport.
I'm afraid.
I mean, Palfox, so
Not
the reason he does that, and you're afraid for good reason, because, you know, if Illusion built full offense, they can get bursted down there. And a Kali Shuriken is sticking in you. You feel like death is coming. But the reason he does that is because he went with the Hex Drinker early on. And that's what you get in payment for delaying your Mythic, for delaying your power spikes.
Protection from the
Protection.
the insta-kill
And
from a
more
Kali.
aggro play, right?
Oh, hello.
It was about to expire, so
Yeah,
that's a weird summon location.
That's fine, though. He's going to pod through mid. Shelly's found her way. Dragon up in 3 seconds. Varus Q coming in hot. FBI though off to the side.
Fiddle.
Oh, Jose Diodo could have a big ulti here. Always watch the Crow Storm. Many things have changed about Fiddle Kobe, but the ultimate has remained.
I got so excited for the game basically time from Fiddle.
Hey, there's still time.
I feel like I was Omega debated.
All right, well, Licorice actually doing pretty well. That's definitely a strength for FlyQuest can lean on. He's had quite a few Gwen games.
So
this one he can carry.
yeah, it's definitely possible. So what I'm gonna go into what I highly recommend. Then.
All right,
for
I'm ready.
More exciting Fiddlesticks play is that you look for the lanes that do have any sort of sub. For this one, their FlyQuest bottom lane is definitely one.
Yep.
But you can also look at lanes where your opponents have very aggro matchups. You know, if your laner, there's so much power in a Fiddlesticks gank if you're able to wrap into a brush on a wave that is pushing backwards, that you can go to one of your weak lanes. Generally, especially for solo queue, it's recommended, oh, don't go to your losing lane. It's going to be hard to pull off a gank, and especially if enemy jungler's there, you lose duels. But for Fiddlesticks, the surprise is so important that you can actually do that. So you either go to lanes that can set you up. Hey, Varus and Nautilus have, you know, kind of brain dead, really good CC ultimates that can set you up there. You can also wrap to ones where you think the opponent is going to make an aggressive stance. And Fiddlesticks, especially with the Predator and Flash available, you have a lot of options for making super aggressive ultimates. You don't have to wait for the Dream ultimate. You have to say, oh, they've walked just into range where I'm going to get really ideal ultimate onto them. It's definitely going to land the fear and all that. You can actually reach for ultimates and go a little bit further down the lane, try and make sure that after your ultimate, you instantly E. It's a little bit longer range there. You can flash forward with it to try and get your fear off. It's like a little bit more reaching does have big rewards for the champion,
right,
because it really can snowball, especially since it's highly recommended to get Dark Seals and start stacking that.
I think especially once you have an item like Proto Belt, right, which I assume Jose is building towards.
Could be, yeah. Looks like it with these pieces. Could be.
I guess the other option is
Night Harvester is okay for team fighting. So Night Harvester is the easier one that you don't have to rely on your active. Proto Belt is definitely better for a lot more versatility, but Night Harvester, you can proc on everybody in a team fight. So that is the one that gives you, oh, you know, Dream, team fighting, damage output. That's what you would take, like, if you're Dark Harvest, you know, and you really want to, like, pentakill a team fight. Proto Belt has a lot more playmaking, and so I like that's why, you know, that's your Inkling form. That's what chase them off Riptail, no problem. But yeah, the other option, which he's not going because it's the mana option build, is the Leandries, which got cheaper. So I highly recommend that one. It got 200 gold cheaper. A lot of the mages are benefiting from it, but some junglers can benefit from it as well. Works really well with the Fiddlesticks because you have an easy time applying that burn to everybody.
What don't you highly recommend? What's a trap item? Apart from like the obvious, like don't build Infinity yet.
Yeah, I mean like Luden's Echo. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the trap ones are pretty obviously traps. You can go with either. Yeah, Everfrost is also stupid. That's trap.
There you go.
You don't need it. This there.
Oh, hello. Rift Tower going to be dropped here. Jose just getting in there. Oh, look at that! There's the interaction code we talked about. Oh no, Abadaga is just popping off. It doesn't matter. The fear is good though. Damage is done, but Abadaga still gets first blood, man. Are you serious?
Okay, well, 100 Thieves have the rest of them here. Snare should be able to stop.
Oh boy, I've seen this movie. Looking to try and set it up. And that's Powerfox flashing out away from closer. There's the donkey out of Huhi. W lands, gets a slow, but not enough damage. FBI in trouble, but he's going to be okay.
Hook lands! Oh, no damage!
Is it
no
ill-advised? Root as well onto Johnson. Damage still there, but the dive not forthcoming. 100 Thieves only with the trade.
All right, and it's going to be extra push there for 100 Thieves. They get control of the map. Bottom side, that 1v1 looks like Someday also got distance, so it was very critical. I'm always looking for teleports when you see a skirmish like that break out, and Someday with his teleport advantage was trying to gain distance from Licorice. You can see on the mini-map, Licorice staying in range of him, though, doesn't let him go up there. Doesn't mean that any FlyQuest members will lose their lives, but the turret still goes down, so.
Licorice expects someone else, I think, or maybe Megan. I was just a little too spooky. Wants to take a recall by the looks of things, though he's going to hang out for now. Licorice definitely building up power here in the side lane. I think FlyQuest are going to have to lean on his side laning through this mid game.
Okay. So the other thing that's really important for Fiddlesticks, that could have benefited Jose there, stopwatch, because a lot of times versus a lot of comps, you're going to want to build into Zonias. And getting the early just stopwatch allows you for a play. A lot of Fiddlesticks will use the talent, actually, to just have the stopwatch delivered to them from Inspiration. But because he doesn't have stopwatch, this very aggressive positioning on the tower dive is super deep, and so he ends up flashing early. You see his positioning there was super deep because he thought Abdaga was going to try and run bottom. But so he flashes to get out of the turret range, then uses the fear, which is good that he saved his fear for the secondary engage. But Abdaga still has R2, or still had it.
In trouble again, there's the fear. That's another kill. FlyQuest starting to heat up here in the top lane.
Yes, sir. Repeat on that, Akali. FlyQuest do get another kill. They're going to be able to answer back on the turret. They should try and kill that turret so Shelly doesn't lose too much health, because you really... Yes, nice. Okay, so they finish off the turret. That means you lose no health on the Rift Herald, and you can push for actually 2 turrets out of it. This is really big since the changes to secondary turrets added 250 more gold to it. Really good hard push here from FlyQuest. Gonna slingshot them up with gold. They are seeding their mid wave right now, as you can see, so mid turret will actually be answered back by 100 Thieves very quickly, though.
That's a good little push. They're also going to get the Dragon out of the deal, but again, we're a long way from the Soul. 100 Thieves, though, will still be happy to take the lead in that objective, so 2-1 now for them in Dragon's Gold. Pretty much even, 100 Thieves up by a couple hundred, but FlyQuest continuing to stay proactive here.
Yeah, and they definitely need to. Again, I want to bring us back to the vision point, because vision is king for both teams when you're playing in a game with Fiddlesticks, and because of the passive, Fiddlesticks is always going to have a very high kind of inflated vision score because, as I said, the effigies last so much longer, and vision score is determined by minutes of vision that you actually get for your team. So things like zombie wards seems like effigy are going to kind of inflate it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't highly value that score for every person on your team. And control wards are so key in getting spots for Jose to get into for those big game-changing ultimates.
Abdaga is going to spot Dreams here. Jose, they're roaming down as well. Abdaga not going to click E a second time. The TP, though, coming in is Huhi. Looking for an angle, but can't find one. But now going to go in there. 2v2 here. Abdaga looking to go on to Dreams. Finds the flip. Huhi there pulls him back. Really easy kill on the Nautilus there.
Yeah, you gotta leave him for dead there. Bye-bye, Dreams. It's just lost, right? There's wards already up in your tri-brush, so Jose couldn't even get like a counter ultimate off there even if he wanted to, because they'd see it coming. Control ward and the tri-brush. Just a good pick there by 100 Thieves. Huhi, they were talking about it. FBI talked about it. Papa Smithy talked about it. So many accolades from his own team as far as the work he puts in. And vision being paramount versus a Fiddlesticks, guess what? That goes both ways. Huhi walked in, got the deep wards there right before this play even takes place, and it allows 100 Thieves to chase through. You see immediate results off of that focus on division from 100 Thieves, from Huhi himself walking in on the set. And they take the rewards, they push super deep into the jungle. Guess what? Now, even if you work your way through here and you clear out this vision, they're going to see you doing it, and they're going to keep tabs on that fiddle. Currently, Jose, good positioning here on the side, but might be difficult to pull off as both of these targets do have flashes.
Yeah, also that mid tower still up there. Very healthy as well. So not a lot of space here for FlyQuest to try and make a play in mid, and that wave's actually pushing in the wrong direction for that Siege. Just Palafox going to start up the Scuttle Crab. Fiddlesticks FG is going to see them, but 100 Thieves going in there. Jose Diodo in trouble. Rocket Belt's out of the way. Now Palafox the target as Jose is forced to flash. The jungles trade flashes there, basically. Nice little move from Closer to get aggressive.
The reason I have my head in my hands there, Pastry, is because we just saw two of my favorite cooldowns burned. The Proto Belt burned. Yeah, that's a low one, but Flash also burned for Fiddlesticks. It just makes we're slowly chipping away at these possibilities for the big Fiddlesticks ultimates. Less mobility on him now. Still definitely could do it. Again, they're trying to pull a wraparound gank through the top lane brush. Akali is kind of difficult to get onto here because you do have Shuriken, Flip, as well as Flash available from Abadaga.
Yeah, but also not going to play up here.
Ooh. Can't take it. Get greedy. You can see by his movement he's not.
Yeah. Oh, no, there's the cross storm. Jose Diodo going to make it happen. There's the kill Kobe's looking for. That's the kill for FlyQuest.
Yes, finally. They got one. You get a little bit greedy there, toying with them. It looked like Ava, kind of even was trying to stop backs there. Had the Inkling, was trying to toy with him, but this is the thing. With Fiddlesticks, you have to have no hesitation. So as soon as the Akali moves forward, Jose is channeling his ultimate there. And then once you get that lockdown with the fear, move up, you layer your Q for the extra damage, then your silence, so that your silence doesn't overlap as much with your fear duration, and you get the full duration before Akali can Shuriken Flip over the wall. And that was just enough. So it's very important on Fiddlesticks, the layering of your two crowd control abilities with the fear and the silence. He does it very well here. Nice. Oh man, it's not gonna be the Fiddlesticks channel. Okay, fine. So here it is, Abba.
All right, take it back. Oh goodness! 3-man facebreaker out of Huhi. Dreams in a little bit of trouble. Licorice trying to dive the backline. FBI getting opened up there, but Closer's already taken out Dreams. FBI is going to get zoned off here, but now has his teammates to run back to, so Licorice has to head for the hills. And 100 Thieves, they do get Abba killed again. But Licorice looks very... oh, he's going to TP out. All right, good luck, sir. Looks like he's going to make it. Oh, just barely. Didn't get clipped by FBI's W.
Yeah, and gonna be able to finish off that channel, no problem in the brush. Licorice lives to fight another day. Honestly, though, it's looking dreary for FlyQuest. Kind of as expected, 100 Thieves coming in this one, cruising pretty well through this early game. Akali does drop again, though, so another kill given over. Some more gold there to the side of FlyQuest. They still pick up the Dragon, though, for 100 Thieves, so they still get themselves 2 soul point. Here's another look at the play. Palafox starts with a very aggressive move there, uses the Gale Force with his dash in to get the big chunk initially, but another one.
Yeah, once again, Huhi tying up Dreams. Closer also diving to the backside, finds two in the ulti. What a play out of Diana. Johnson gonna die there as well. Huhi going back in there, but the Crowstorm's looking okay. 1 kill back, but not enough there as Huhi is dead, but Jose will fall as well. And 100 Thieves, that's gonna be Baron.
Yeah, that's a juicy one, Pastry. Closer got into both backline carries. Guess what? There's no mobility left for Lucian, and he's right next to the Varus. Dream situation for Closer there. Diana right into the backside, gets both of them. 100 Thieves annihilate FlyQuest, and that one is going to be the kicker. That's a Baron as a reward. You already have soul point. With the Baron, you get so much more map control. They can push in, get extra gold out of the secondary turrets, then go back, have plenty of time to spend it, reset with extra vision, just plant wards all up around these brush by the dragon to make sure no crazy Fiddlesticks ult comes out, and that should be a nice bow-wrapped soul for 100 Thieves. See how much work they can get done with this Baron, though, Pastry. Baron currently, gold reward sits at 1,697. Plenty of gold in those turrets to try and get, though.
All right, what's doing it? Huhi again, just face checking, no fear.
Yes, sir. On set, one of the biggest playmakers here for 100 Thieves. Huhi goes in, uses the shield pretty early on, but again,
oh, that's so beautiful.
No room there for the carries to work with on FlyQuest, and Closer just makes a beeline straight for the back line, takes them both down. Jose no way for him to get out. He does try and fight his way out. He gets the kill onto Huhi, so gets a little gold back for himself, but that's a drop in the bucket, you know?
Definitely can't be alive to steal the Baron, obviously, so no threat at all there for 100 Thieves. They make the play they probably would have made anyway, but made much easier by the fact that the enemy can't contest you above.
Man. With that extra money, look at that. Closer's almost to a death cap, too.
Oh, boy.
This is a jungler dream, pastry time. You rarely get to build death cap as a jungler, but Closer's almost there, and he's got a 7-stack ring on top of it. Definitely could be another one of those big Diana games.
And Closer, of course, been so good on the carry champions. This game certainly looking like one where he can excel once again. FBI's been awfully annoying, poking at Dreams and Co. But again, the Baron Siege not done. Still a minute left to do some damage here.
Yeah, you see Jose trying to hover around, look for these fiddlestick angles. You get kind of used to the little pockets of Fog of War as they're pushing up. Little off angles on the kind of nooks and crannies throughout Summoner's Rift. See if you can catch them hovering a little bit too close to one of the sides of the walls they don't have vision on. He, in the end, goes for the pick on the split pusher. You know, nice evasive flash there from Abadaga to get out of range. So FlyQuest don't get the pick, but they do get a Summoner out of the Akali.
All right, well, tower dead and topside here again, 100 Thieves. Go ahead and let Abadaga just kind of hang out in the bottom lane. They're going to go ahead and overload this top side here with that Baron buff still ticking away and try and crack through one of these inhibitor towers. Top lane is going to be demolished as Licorice getting aggressive onto Huhi here. Gwen again, 2 items ready. Cosmic Drive chasing through. Huhi's W is going to proc. There's the ulti out of Huhi, and Licorice is still going. That should be a kill. Center shield going to make it last a bit longer, and now it's in the front side. Someday in trouble. Flashing away, it looks to hop, but doesn't quite make enough distance. Great Q out of Johnson is going to find the shutdown.
Big snipe, and now the teleport's arriving with Abadaga.
Okay, Jose not in time to hit the W. Abadaga does just get out of there, flipping off to safety. Did look a little dicey, but does get out.
So they did get a shutdown, and that's pretty nice, you know, to have more money on Johnson. But this is a Varus with no flash versus a Diana Akali team that also has Set and Gnar to try and set up for them. So there's huge amounts of dive they have to worry about. And on top of that, a Senna ult comes over the top. So this is a literal no mobility champion there in the Varus. And so many things for the Varus to try and keep his eyes on to stay alive. So a little bit more money on a champion that has a very high probability of dying early on in the next fight probably won't mean a lot. Maybe it can if you get a Dream Fiddlesticks ultimate, but I wanted to highlight earlier that it was good warding there by 100 Thieves and Abadaga to see.
Oh, he's going in for the play. Pops his Zonyas, but left in front of a few too many people. Finds the outplay, though. Takes out Palafox, and now the rest of the squad's going to reinforce Licorice. Thread and Nildu going to try and get the kill onto Abadaga. Does find it, but at what cost here is Dreams now forced to get away. And Closer, he is so ready with that fresh death cap to try and find a few more, but none coming there. Johnson, though, did die in the collateral, as expected.
Yep, when you're playing a Varus in this type of world, Summoner's Rift is not your friend. The night is dark and full of terrors, my friend, and one of them finds their mark there. 2 members down for FlyQuest means, guess what, Pastry? Everything on Summoner's Rift belongs to 100 Thieves. They've bought the blue buff, they bought the dragon, they are inside your base.
Look at
robbing you dry.
Go ahead and just solo out the inhib. He's kind of owning Licorice 1v1. All right, Someday going to get a lot of work done there in the midsection of the map. It's 2 inhibs now. Down for FlyQuest, down about 7,000 gold with Baron coming up in a minute, and the Elder Dragon up in 530 because the Ocean Soul did go to 100 Thieves at the end of all of that.
Yes, sir. Everything going to 100 Thieves away. Look at this. All right, Abadaga, he wants to fight his way out of this. Really good, actually. Instant Zonias coming out. R2 just in range over the edge to kill Palafox. Quite nicely done. If I don't say so myself. Yes, he dies in the end, but he draws the rest of the team over, so allowing Closer and 100 Thieves to move in. They get the extra flash out. They got the Fiddlesticks ult out too, so then there's nothing you're really worried about in pushing towards the base. So they easily get inside. They've laid waste to that FlyQuest base. Both inhibitors down in top and mid now, so not a lot of territory to work with.
It's also 3 people for FlyQuest in the bottom lane.
You know what? They're moving in numbers because there's more safety in numbers. Maybe you can try and find someone. The play is they're just kind of reaching for the stars. maybe we can find a straggler, kill off an unlucky.
I mean, I don't mind it because that is like the only inhib left. And maybe they just think they can't get into Baron, but
I mean,
they're
they
probably
can't.
not going there.
They can't. You definitely can't. Baron is also owned by 100 Thieves, okay?
Yeah,
they
true.
just dropped their foundations line, and they're cash rich now, so they've been able to take over the entirety of Summoner's Rift.
All right, well, they bought the Baron. Going to feel pretty good for the next 3 minutes as they look to try and finish off this game. Has been kind of a slow and steady one here for 100 Thieves, but it does feel like they just don't want to take any risks, right? Fiddlesticks can be very spooky. Speaking of, Johnson and Jose Diodo are looking to combine for what needs to be a pretty well-executed combination, and now he's going to sniff them out. Ever the vision score expert does punch down the last remaining wards.
Guess what? Super Minion's gonna do the job on top side. So all 100 Thieves have to do, kill that last minion wave. You see Akali moving towards it now. There's one more minion wave on bottom, and then they get to make their play. Sweepers immediately going out as they run through the jungle here, just trying to search out where is Jose. That's actually all we care about now. As long as we don't get 5-person ultied.
Yeah, you're not really afraid of the Lucian flank teleport.
When you've got super minions inside the base too, it literally just eliminates everyone else on the map. So 100 Thieves, if we turn it to observer vision from their perspective, just look at how few places this Fiddlesticks could be. And I wonder, where is the Fiddlesticks trying to ult us from? So nobody should be walking up towards that wall, towards that control ward. That is bait, sir.
Yep, and they know Licorice. Ooh, he's trying to find the TP angle here, but he getting peppered by the culling. Rest of the Thieves who are going to reinforce it. Huhi looking for the angle. Someday driving in there, looking for the scoop, finds it, gets 2 into the wall, and now Huhi falls up with the face breaker, and the wrap is far too late for Licorice. 100 Thieves are going to put a bow on this game. Licorice fighting out, will maybe kill FBI. Someday swoops in to save him. Doesn't quite happen, but the ace is good enough for one more Nexus. 100 Thieves are going to finish off FlyQuest.
Only one thief dies in the final attack on the base, and 100 Thieves will rack up that W. Congratulations.
What number was that in a row again, Kobe?
I'm pretty sure the streak has not been broken. So I'm pretty sure it's 7 or 8.
Feeling pretty good. You know what? I don't think they're counting. They don't need to.
7 wins in a row. Lucky number 7 there for 100 Thieves. Able to finish this one up versus FlyQuest. They're looking to go legendary tomorrow. A full 8 streak in the LCS.
All right, we'll see if they can get it done. Have yet another sweep of a weekend here. Again, 100 Thieves have just been so in form. Just very impressive for the team that has come together pretty late before the season start. And for FlyQuest, it does feel like, I like that, the things they brought. Fiddlesticks is super cool. I think I like what they did setting up with the pushing lanes. I think Licorice's grind has been good. It does feel like they're just struggling to find a way to consistently find advantages in game, right? And that game, I almost felt like they were just too scared, right? Like the reputation of the Thieves lately is too good that it's like, I don't want to make this play. I don't want to look stupid, and I get it. But when you, like you said, and said for a lot of that game, when you pick these lanes, when you pick this jungler, you have to try and make plays.
I so wanted to see some.
It's coming back, Kobe.
Some big ones. Honestly, though, yeah, this is literally the top team in the LCS that FlyQuest are fighting. FlyQuest, it's looking like they're headed towards the very bottom, though. So they've been reaching out, trying to figure out what they can do, subbing in 3 different players, pulling them back out now. They're changing parts around. They're trying to figure out some way to pull out of this kind of free fall. And the losses continue to rack up, but you just have to keep on, trying to focus on keeping the mental clear here. Focus on some good vibes so that you can just one game at a time. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves, they continue their ascent towards the top. They still have sole possession of first place after this game here, finishing up day number 2.
And unfortunately, not the jungler we want to talk about, but Closer is our player of the game.
Diana.
That Diana play was so sick.
Definitely a big one. Sees both backline members, 280 carries.
Easy.
Eyes get real big for Diana, charges right in, gets a good ult.
All right, well, after all that and after the break, we are going to be breaking down that matchup and wrapping up the day at the State Farm Analyst Desk. Catch you there.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We are here to close out the day after a 100 Thieves victory. But guess what? That 100 Thieves W means a lot more than just a single win. They have officially locked playoffs.
Confetti.
Woo!
Who's surprised? Anybody?
Tough to get into that 8th place spot.
Also, surprise here.
Top 8. Let's go. But I mean, it's indicative of what we've been seeing. That game was like, as you'd expect, I feel like they just have a really good, solid lock on the fundamentals that they can just walk through teams like they did today, like they did yesterday over, of course, Team Liquid. Solid performance overall this week.
Right, I quite like all the different strategies they bring out. I feel like they're one of the few teams that are still doing the support center and the AD carry role. I don't think I've seen any other team really do that recently. So I like the fact that they do this kind of stuff. So I want to see some more Huhi Ziggs too. You know, they could probably build a team camp where they bust out Ziggs.
That's the thing. I think they're the best Senna team in the world, because when I just talked about when I talk about that, obviously there's not a lot of teams that are playing Senna at the moment, but the flexibility within the draft that they can just pick Senna on 3. This time it was 4-5 because the FlyQuest didn't even think about it or care for it. But like, you're right. They can go towards the Ziggs. They can go towards the set. Last time, and I think it was week 3, they went towards the Lee Sin. Week 4 that was. Like, when you see a Senna, you don't know if it's going to be Huhi or if it's going to be FBI going towards the pick, because honestly, Huhi loves the Senna pick. So it's something that they're super comfortable playing.
Well, we can talk all we want about the flex picks, but you do need the players to actually be able to back it up to bring that truth to it, right? So very excellent point in that regard. And you also mentioned that they really dominated today, too.
Yeah, the good news is they have 5 players who can actually execute. And here we see an example of, the comp being played to perfection, pretty much, A big focus point of what you see from 100 Thieves here is basically they're drafting melee into range, so it's really important that they have good target selection, because once they use their dashes, that's it. They're sitting ducks. And here we saw Closer have really good selection. He realizes, okay, Evolution is immediately killable, but the Varus is actually hiding back. If I go to the Varus, I can actually just bring them both together and kill them both. Right, so really good play from Closer, and this is what we've been seeing from him all split. Last split it was more about him being more objective focused and him supporting the team. Now we're seeing him be a legitimate carry along with Abadaka and the rest of the team.
Right, watching that team fight again, I didn't notice it the first time. I thought it was just a 4v5, because I knew Licorice wasn't there. But actually, it was a 6v4 because those guys started Baron, and Baron chunked them all to half. So somehow 100 Thieves got another member of their team for that team fight and just 6v4'd them. So I don't know what FlyQuest is doing choosing a 4v6, but you guys probably shouldn't do that, professional teams.
One thing I want to talk about with FlyQuest a little bit more is the fact that, like, building plans. I know, like, at the beginning of the day, Fudge kind of talked about, at least from Cloud9's perspective, and how far ahead they ended up talking about these plans. And it's a really core principle of, like, within every team of, like, talking about what you want to do next, going forward. For FlyQuest, they had Fiddlesticks, and it's not as if they didn't have good lanes. They had good lanes. Their bot lane was pushing out FBI and Huhi. Like, they were chunking them out and pushing them out. Same thing, they were finally getting a dive topside, but it felt like Fiddlesticks wasn't a part of the play. Like, you can look for a dive bot lane if Fiddlesticks is up there and he recognizes, okay, you guys are getting a chunk, I can path towards the lane and we can set up for it on this wave, right? But those were never things that ended up happening, and so the game went long. FBI, it was 100 Thieves as a team that were constantly playing for things like Rift Herald, getting those team fights in their order. I need to see a little bit more of that from FlyQuest.
Right. If you want some practice, or people that don't know how to do these kind of things, like timing, people always say timing.
Yep.
How do you do that? Count minion waves. 2 minion waves from now, I need you here. 1 minion wave, I need you here. So just do something simple like that. That's every 30 seconds. That's how people know how many more waves can they clear, or how many jungle camps. Give them amount of waves.
Exactly, and ping the wave you want to do it on. I think that one's one thing that teams, especially like growing teams like our academy and all that, don't do it all too consistently, is like making it very clear, I want you on this wave. So if your jungler is coming, he's like, okay, I can do these, I can full clear these camps, or I need to skip this camp to do it.
Jury's still out a bit on what we expect from FlyQuest for the weeks to come. We are at that halfway point in the split. It's crazy. But as we mentioned, 100 Thieves, they did secure that playoff spot. They are also in sole possession of first place. And hey, they're gotta be feeling pretty good about it.
They should. I actually want to look at the bottom of the standings, because there's a heated battle at the bottom between CLG, FlyQuest, and Golden Guardians. CLG was a roster that a lot of people were excited about. I was excited about. But lately,
you don't say.
Yeah, right? No one knows that. But lately, they've been sort of slipping, and now they're in of a piece with Golden Guardians and FlyQuest, all separated by one game. So, with top 8, we joke about top 8 and 100 Thieves making it, but for these 3 bottom teams, it's actually really, really close and very stressful.
And the one thing that's important for me looking at this standing is I was really behind Immortals in their push going, basically overtaking Dignitas. But now trajectory's changed. Dignitas is back in action. They're taking wins right now, especially versus TSM. That was a really big one, easy one that we saw versus Golden Guardians. Bit of a scrap, but like that's 2 wins in their court. Well, Immortals are the ones stalling out. So now the gap is widened over there. So I want to see what ends up happening in the next few weeks because Dignitas is looking good.
Right. Do you have any suggestions for IMT to get back up there? Because it seems like there's a clear top 4, right?
Yeah.
And then there's 2, and then, or is it 4, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, right?
You never
IMT
do
is the
math
1.
here on the desk.
I know I failed trigonometry. We talked about that earlier. I'm good at algebra. I think I did that math right? So the bottom 3 are pretty close. IMT is bottom of the sub. How do they break up to there, right? A lot of the teams, I feel like you can tell how they get better. What is IMT really lacking here?
It's tough because I feel like looking at this team, they do come out with different looks in different drafts. Very recently, they've been coming out with like carry tops. Like a good example is the Aurelia Lucian. And I think being too creative is a problem, right?
Right.
Where I would say on the different part of the spectrum, CLG being too simple is an issue because you're not really learning at the same rate, right? With Immortals, I want them to have some sort of stability within, what their playstyle is and what they're playing for. So I think that would make it easier going forward.
Being that it is Saturday, we do get to see them take to the Rift one more time for the weekend. And tomorrow, we are closing out our rivalry week here with C9 taking on TSM, the most storied rivalry in LCS history. Check it out.
North America's richest rivalry, Cloud9 versus TSM.
So there's about 95 games worth of history between these teams. Every time these teams meet, it is like a verified slapper.
Harvey is very off.
Tony kicks in. Goodbye to Syndra. Beautifully done, and now the rest of them will fall.
The day has come. The time has arrived. It is time for TSM versus Cloud9.
I love that tomorrow is the 4th of July, and what's more American than TSM C9 with Fudge talking trash about TSM in the fans. So let's get it.
Right? That's what makes me so excited about tomorrow. If we take a look at the schedule, and if you got the gist from what we just watched, TSM and C9 will be facing off. And it was so classic after such a calm, collected take on the game for Fudge to say, TSM, they ain't that great.
Right, I'm looking pretty forward to it. I was like lost in my own head during that slot. I was trying to remember how many times I play against TSM in the playoffs. I think I'm either 2-1 or 2-2 or something, despite them destroying me after I started winning against them. So I'm trying to think about that. It's not relevant at all to this kind of stuff. I'm just a boomer thinking about the kind of stuff. So,
how much do you internalize that rivalry, having spent so much tenure on the C9 side?
Right, I quite like it. Obviously, there's still the rivalry there between Jack and Reggie. I don't really know if the players feel it as much anymore because they weren't really there during the dynasty of TSM and C9. So it might be more of like an org versus org thing, but it'd be super cool if like the players started getting into it. I'd love to see like the players really feel that rivalry and bring it back.
Yeah, well, Fudge keeps talking that way, everyone's gonna feel it.
I think, once again, we support the violence here in the LCS.
Yes.
We do. We want more players talking, right? And anybody out there that don't like it, leave. So,
oh, wow.
So I do appreciate that stuff, and I do like even listening into some of the TSM, their own content, hearing the fact that the players are, outgoing themselves. Huni, like Spica, are 2 of the easiest ones, right? So more of that will keep people going.
They've been talking the talk. They've been walking the walk on the Rift, too. It's been a pleasure watching them throughout the week. That is going to do it for us here, though, on the LCS. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more LCS and Rivalry Week action. Until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.
Y'all come back now.
Yeah.
Ben talk trash.